Standing on the top now. No, nothing can move you.
Good day, good day, good day. Welcome to another episode of the Rob Report on the Go. I'm your humble host, Robert Bob TV Brown. I had to get the story off my chest because it's real irritating. It's real irritating. Black activist Vox Booker. Well, he's actually a human rights advocate, a member of the Monroe County Human Rights Commission. Basically, around this time last year, was accosted by a bunch of bigots who tried to attempt to hang him. He was hanging out with his white buddies. Nothing wrong with that, hanging out with your white buddies. But you got to watch where you hang out with your white buddies at, man. You ain't see, you haven't seen the movie Get Out? Man, you got to watch where you're going sometimes. Because even then, if you got white buddies, you put them in a position that's not comfortable for them either. So, you got to watch where you go these days. My brother, who's an avid fisherman and who loves the wildlife and loves being out in the woods, and we got that since we were young because we grew up in Florida, and a lot of areas were mostly uncharted territories with wildcats, alligators, you name it. Mayaka State Park. What's up, Mayaka State Park? Well, this brother was accosted. And they attempted to hang him. And let you bring you back around this a little bit. Let me bring this video up. Give me a moment. So good day. I'm not going to be up here that long, but I think we need to talk to you about this. You almost get your life taken away by a bunch of bigots. You do know the lynching laws to this very day are still intact. I think a couple of states attacked it and made changes, but internationally, there has not been an international mandate on stopping this law. You got President Trump did not stop lynching laws. You got Joe Biden, whom y'all claim gonna fight for you, but have not touched the lynching laws or establishing lynching laws, making it a crime punishable by death. That is a crime that should be punished by death. Now, I'm not for the death penalty, but you're going to sit here and try to kill a person on purpose. I mean, it's who you are. There's no premeditation. You probably meditate on this all the time. You probably dream and slave about hanging a black guy. You probably say, well, let me think about it, buddy. I'm telling you, it sure would be much more of a pleasure to hang a black guy than the Arab. Than the Asian. I probably won't even get no pleasure at hanging a LGBTQ, but that boy, I probably would, boy, whoo, lynching a black man and go off in this tangent and thoughts on killing a black person. Give me a second. Well, the story of Mr. Vox Booker is a story that continues to happen. There was a lynching here in New York City. There have been lynching going on all across the country that doesn't get the limelight, doesn't get told about. I did a couple of videos. Other people done a couple of videos. The African Diaspora channel did a couple of videos. I think Tim Black did a couple of videos. They're lynching black people, but they don't want to go too far in sensationalizing and making it a big issue. You don't hear about it on TV, number one. Number two, they always saying for some reason we had mental issues and we were depressed and we decided to commit suicide. All right, so let's do a, pass and review on what happened at that time. Give me a moment. So Washington Post. Indiana authorities said Monday that they are investigating a reported racist attack on a Bloomington black man who said a group of white men pinned him to a tree, beat him, and threatened to get a noose after accusing him and a friend of trespassing in private property on July the 4th. So, these bigots, let's say they did trespass. Well, just because they trespass don't mean you have to be a trusted, well, you know how the word going. But let's watch this.
Star Wars. You are worse than the police. Star Wars. You are worse than the police. You are totally worse than the police. The police couldn't even provide.
You happy about this? You nappy headed. You happy about this?
What do you call me?
Do it.
He called them a nappy headed bitch. Bruh, how about you leave these donuts alone? Now, I'm not the smallest guy in the world, but I'm working on it. Bruh. Fair use, by the way, YouTube, fair use. You chocolate donut eating, you probably love some chocolate donuts, but you don't like black people. You probably love chocolate donuts with chocolate cream filling in it.
You nappy headed.
What do you want to call me?
About this? You with your 5 white friends?
Now, I guess his buddies telling him, don't say that. You nappy-headed black bee with your 5 white friends. He's mad because white friends are defending him. My question, brother, why you out in the woods with a whole bunch of white people? Now, look, don't get me wrong. We got some good white people out here that, you know, that's going to side with you. But, bro, I ain't going nowhere with just my white friends. I need a couple of brothers up in the mix. Hey, look here, Bob. We're having a cookout up here in the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia. And, you know, we would love for you to come. My first question is, who all coming? Because they ain't no, if Hank and Shaquita and all them ain't coming, they ain't coming. I'm the only black person going to be, yeah, but, you know, nah, that's too suspect for me, Doc. I know you mean well and you just want me to hang because you love me, but the whole thing looked freaking suspect. The whole thing looked freaking suspect. Now, the report said nobody, he was the only black person there. Going to the mountains, going to a rural area, and you ain't got time to dispute whether it's their property or not. They could be lying through their teeth, but how you going to fight against that? And they figure just because you're on my property, I got a right to kill you. No. If I try to attack you on your property, that's a different story. But there's no evidence of Mr. Vaughn attacking these people. But let me keep playing. This is just a short clip. There's a longer clip. I can't find it, but there's a longer clip.
You happy with your 5 white friends?
You guys
started all this. You put it in your film.
Film it.
Film it all. Come over here again. Come over here again.
This sucks. This sucks both ways, guys.
Come over here again.
This sucks both ways.
No.
Let's go. Come on. Vaughn,
Now, at that time, I got to go. It's not like I won't fight y'all, but it's one black surrounded by whites. So you don't want to put yourself in a position that can make it worse, even with your buddies. Brother, never ever put yourself in that kind of position again. You can love all people, but don't go out hanging out in an area that you're not pretty much familiar with, without people that you're not familiar with, and always remember, stay familiar. Stay familiar with your... Don't get so detached from black society that you think you white and all your buddies are white. Yeah, because you get some people, all my friends are black. Yeah, but at the end of the day, mess around and call one of them a racial slur, and friend or not, they're going to remind you that that's off limits. Now, let's get into the story because it's ridiculous, because here they are. They tried to tie this brother up and try to literally lynch him. And according to sources says the two men was charged in the July 4th attempt. Marquise Francis and Christopher Wilson were charged in the situation. The two men were charged Friday in alleged assault against a black man who was seen in a viral video being held against his will in the woods. Brothers, black brother, heck, black brothers. If you going into the woods near any lake in states like Indiana, North Carolina, South Carolina, even Florida, heck, I don't care if you're in New York State, you better make sure you're prepared for anything. You better make sure that you expect Jason Voorhees to pop up out of anywhere. You better be prepared for the unexpected. That if ish go down, I'm ready. Don't you dare ever go to no rural area in the woods near a lake at that and a bunch of trees. I prefer to go somewhere where you can't hang me. Send me to a beach, bro. Ain't no trees on the it's hard for you to hang me. What you gonna hang me on? A fish? Don't put yourself in this position. Sean Purdy and Jerry Cox are charged with various crimes, including confinement and battery against 36-year-old Bloomberg. Not attempted murder. Sean Purdy and Jerry Cox are charged with various crimes, including confinement and battery against 36-year-old Bloomington, Indiana man Vox Booker. According to the Indianapolis Star, Monroe County prosecutor Erica Oliphant has filed 2 active warrants for the 2 men and says Booker will face no charges. Why would he face charges anyway? What? How he's going to face trespassing charge when he went up there with a bunch of white friends? Did they face trespassing charges? But according to this, they're going to be faced with charges. He's not going to be faced with charges. My question is, they tried to tie this man up. And God knows what would have happened if their white friends would abandon him. Not saying that would have happened. God knows what would have happened if this was like a Carrie situation where we pump you up and make you feel pretty to go to the prom, and at the end of the day, it's all a joke against you. A setup. Purdy charged with criminal confinement, battery, resulting in injury, and intimidation, all felonies. Cox is charged with aiding and causing criminal confinement, felony battery resulting in injury, intimidation, and 2 misdemeanors counts of battery. Okay. No attempted murder charge. No various assault charges. Booker, a member of the Monroe County Human Rights Commission, posted his account of a July 4 incident along with the video of his to his Facebook account, writing, "I don't want to recount this, but I was almost a victim of attempted lynching." He went on July the 4th, others and me were victims of what I would describe as a hate crime. Now, you think, Mr. Booker, that your white buddies would have been harmed to the extent that you were? I highly doubt it. But then again, back in the 60s, if you was considered a NL, you know what I mean by NL, you could get killed. I was attacked by 5 white men with Confederate flags. Now, whether it was flags ain't got nothing to do with it. These folks don't even pick up Confederate flag. They could pick up American flag and lynch you. Who literally threatened to lynch me in front of numerous witnesses. Booker said he and his friend was visiting a public beach on Lake Monroe outside of Bloomington to join a gathering when a group of white men say they were on private property and began to follow them. Now, if it's a public beach, there's markers on the public beach. There's usually a sign letting you know this is a public beach. And when you leave the public beach area, there's usually markers letting you know that this area is not public, it's private. A group of white men said they were on private property and began to follow them. Now that's harassment. Some of the men became belligerent. When he approached sober-seeming group members to see if we could smooth things over a bit, the confrontation escalated. Now, as you see, this is the video. Let's go here. 1 year later, where does this thing stand with the incident at Lake Monroe? Before we read this article, let's revisit the video. If I can get to this video on Vash's, I think, Twitter account or Facebook account. Let's see.
Stop! Let him go!
You're causing more problems. You are so. You're doing this.
Stop! Let him go!
I am not fucking.
We're just trying to get out of here, guys. We're just trying to get out of here.
Let him go!
So it's clearly a hate crime because they're not attacking any of the white people around him. They're only focusing on the black guy. It's clearly a bunch of dumb bigots that need to be charged with attempted murder. Somebody stepping on your property is no excuse for you to kill them. Now, if they try to attack you on your property, you have a right to defend yourself, but clearly there's no aggression going on here. And I doubt the aggression would have been taking place at these white bigots on behalf of his white friends.
Let him go, dude. Let him go. Let him go. Please, let him go. Please let him go. We're going to as soon as you let him go. I'm going to.
Guys, get the fuck out of here!
Let him go.
Get your phones out of here and go!
Ain't no way you gonna tell me to go when you got my buddy right next to them. No, you let them go and we all go. Why I gotta go in order for you to let? And if you people are dumb enough to sit there and leave and believe that crap and go and believe that they're gonna let them go after you leave, you about dumb as 2 hens in the basket. It's hard to get 2 hens in the basket. Now, honestly speaking, look at the way these trees are. You ain't hanging nothing on those trees but maybe a pair of drawers. But who knows what other trees they may have in the area. They probably would have gagged this brother up, tied them up because your butt left and probably took them to the biggest tree you can think of in the area and not only hang them one time, they probably would have noosed them on up and hang them probably 2-3 times and leave them there.
Let him
Shake
go.
your head at me
Let
and
him
go!
go.
Get the
Let him
fuck
go.
out of here! Go!
He hits his camera and he not get aggressive back.
in a Star Wars.
You're worse than
Okay.
the police.
You happy about this?
You're totally worse than the police. The police couldn't even prevent it.
You happy about this? You fucking nappy-headed bitch. You happy about this?
What do you really want to call me?
Do it. You nappy-headed bitch.
What do you want to call me?
Happy about this? You with your 5 white friends?
You know what I want to say?
You happy with your 5 white friends?
You
guys started all this shit. Fuck you. Put it in your fucking film, bitch.
Film it.
Film it all. Fuck you. Come over here again. Come over here again. Film it.
This sucks. This sucks both ways, guys.
Come over here again.
This sucks both ways.
No,
Let's go. Let's get this. Come on. Come on.
Ah, boy. Ah, boy.
Yeah, I know.
Just
I
like
have
all
no
you
problem.
were
I have
when
no
you came
problem.
and invaded us.
I know.
Just like when you guys invaded us.
No one invaded.
You guys invaded us. We were having a great time and you invaded
No one
us.
invaded you.
Stupid fucking liberal fucks. That's what you get.
Now, this is the problem I have with some of these bigots. Do you realize, you conservative, you're just as much as a bigot? That your philosophy is just as idiotic as liberal philosophies. Just the simple fact that you guys think one of you is better than the other is idiotic. A liberal. How do you know he's a freaking liberal? Just because he's an activist? He could be a conservative activist. Activism has nothing to do with political parties. It has everything to do with moving an agenda. And every agenda that's outside of you don't mean it's liberal, you dumb idiot. And I have to say the same thing with these liberals. Every agenda that get moves against you ain't necessarily Republican or conservative. Some of these agendas come out the pit of hell and ain't got nothing to do with a political party. It's just ideology and way of belief. These bigots, man. That's why, brothers, you stay on your property as much as you can. And don't be wilding out and venturing out. Make sure you know where you're going. And make sure you're protected. No matter where you go, you make sure you're protected. You have a right to bear arms. Make sure you're protected. So when fools act like this and they want to come, you let them know what's up. You do like you do your brothers on the street sometimes. What's up? Start something? We can start something. Step off before you get one in your behind. Now, I don't promote violence, but you have to keep yourself in a position where you're ready to defend yourself at all costs. Because you don't know when this stuff can happen. And I'm telling you, when you go into areas like this, you have to expect the unexpected. Now, let me finish this and get to the main point.
Take your ass on.
I'm fine. Are you okay?
That was so unnecessary.
Oh yeah, hold your heart, you little fucking bitch.
I know. You were so amazing. Thank you for saying that.
Get your behind out of there and stop all that talking. Which brings me to this point, and I'm almost done. This got the police department to get involved. Alleged racist assault. Fool, you see them assaulting a man. You see the man using racial slurs, but you want to call this an alleged racist assault. Then the FBI had to get involved with this mess. Nothing much happened of it. That's when they basically charge the brother. Once the FBI started looking into this, they said we need to charge these bigots because the FBI is starting to look into this thing. 1 year later, where do things stand with the incident at Lake Monroe? This is an article came out July the 2nd, 2021. It's been nearly a year since Bloomington activist Vox Booker found himself surrounded and pinned against a tree. This happened last July the 4th. Booker and a group of friends went to Lake Monroe. We know the story. Booker said the white men jumped him. I thought white men can't jump, but obviously they still trying. For legal fees, Booker had to come up with a GoFundMe. Now, why? Let's listen to him talk for a second.
Well, this Sunday is the 4th of July, and it also marks a year since Bloomington activist Vox Booker was the victim of what he describes as an attempted lynching near Lake Monroe. Mitch Legan has...
What the news reporter? You just saw the racist bigot man using racial slurs. They pinned this man against a tree. They was telling the white people to leave. God knows what would have happened to that brother. Lynching, burnt, stabbed, it don't matter. They did not have good intentions.
Has an update as to where the case stands today.
It's been a year since Vox Booker found himself surrounded and pinned against a tree.
We're just trying to get out of here, guys. We're just trying to get out of here.
On July 4th last year, Booker and a group of friends went to Lake Monroe to celebrate the holiday. The details of what happened next depend on who you ask.
Please, let him go. Please let him go. We're going to as soon as you let him go.
Booker says a group of white...
Depend on who asks. You got video footage. Why are you asking? There ain't no question to be asked. The video is answering all your questions right there.
White men jumped him and threatened to hang him with a noose after he and some friends engaged the group to discuss alleged racial insensitivity. The white men say Booker knowingly trespassed on private property and got into the face of Sean Purdy's girlfriend before punching Purdy, and that's how the incident became physical. Purdy's lawyer didn't respond to WTIU's request for comment.
Okay, so they trying to say he assaulted Purdy. Everybody got video cameras in there but the Purdy crew. This stuff sounds...
Here's Booker back in March.
I had the mild concussion, some abrasions. There were some chunks of hair that were ripped out of my head. And basically just kind of beat up. I think the deeper wounds were the mental aspects.
Booker took to Facebook to tell his story, and it went viral. The post was shared over 200,000 times, and the videos that captured some of the incident now have over 8 million views. National and international news outlets picked up the story.
The man who says he was the victim of a racially motivated attack.
Now I gotta stop it right there because CBS is known to strike people with their foolishness. But this is the part I want to get here. After over a year, this man was charged. Any other man who survived an attempted lynching charged for fighting back. You see, when black people get attacked or when black people get called on for false charges, when they're set up to be attacked, and when I say set up to be attacked, put yourself in a position, Mr. Booker, that you don't need to be in, is a setup to get attacked. Karen's calling the police on you because you tell her to take her dog somewhere and do his thing because this is a bird watch area. You can't let your dog come over here. They got a place, and pick up your dog stuff. If your dog do poop, you're in Central Park, pick it up. And she calls the police. These should be criminal charges for doing things like this because it's basically dog whistling. You're trying to put me in a position where I can get harmed. You're actually hoping and wishing. The police on the way? You're hoping that put me in a fear that something can happen to me when they come. I get beat up, I get locked up. At most, I get murdered. While you sit there and laugh and go back in the house eating your bonbons and drinking your espresso. This man was charged because he attempted to fight back. What they normally do when you get charged, the same thing happened with the Central Park Karen, is they try to take you through this, and they did this with some of the people that went into the Capitol building too. They take you through this program where you basically say, I was wrong, and I've learned my lesson, and whatever, just so you can get out of jail quick, fast, in a hurry. It's no different from you admitting to the crime or you ratting somebody out so you can get out of jail. You don't like jail. Jail is horrible. You're trying to find the quickest, easiest way to get out and get back home. They do this stuff on purpose. So they did this with these white guys to get them back home. Had them go through this process of admitting, I learned what I did was wrong, and now I want to do things right. You fool, don't you understand the philosophy? Convince a person above their will is of the same opinion still. Just because they sit there and say they're sorry don't mean they're sorry. So why go through the whole process? Well, according to sources, these guys went through that process and they were hoping that Mr. Vox Booker would be repentant and say, oh, it's all right. It's all right. We just need to all get along. Well, Vox Russ Busher wasn't doing that. A black man who was almost lynched by a mob of white men in the woods is now being charged for defending himself during the attack. As the Grievo previously reported, the man identified as Vox Rush Booker on Facebook detailed the July 4th encounter he had with a group of drunk white men who claimed he and his friends were on private property last year. The confrontation turned violent when a mob of purported white supremacists attacked Booker and attempted to lynch him as he sought to retreat from the area. A total of 5 people reportedly jumped Booker, dragged his body, and pinned him against a tree. The hate group tore off some of his hair as they beat his head and body, and one of the males yelled white power. Now, we don't have this on video, but according to what we've seen, it's possible. During the attack, one of the men pressed his full body weight. Of course, somebody bigger than Booker. Booker ain't no small dude. Thankfully, Booker was saved when bystanders showed up to intervene and began filming, which caused the attackers at first to get more aggressive. We're going to break his arm, Booker recounted one of the attackers saying. Then stated to the members of their party several times to get a noose, among some other choice slurs. Now, we've been hearing that mess all our lives because that term is meant to put fear into us. Hey, Buck, go over there. Buck, look at my car. I got a rope. Of course, chill's going to come down your spine. These idiots are trying to at least threaten to hang you or tie your foot up at the back of the truck and drag you until you die. These are things that has happened to us in the past. Get a rope. This ain't no Pace Pecani sauce commercial. This is real life. New York City, get a rope. That get a rope joke ain't no joke to us. The onlookers managed to get the attackers to leave, and some white allies were able to stop the violent race mob from following Booker and his friends. Now, look, we appreciate white allies. And God knows if it wasn't for them being there, they probably would have hung this brother. But we white allies are not enough, man. You guys really need to deal with need some strong laws on attacking black people. You get mad because somebody pushed grandma down in Chinatown. It's not in their neighborhoods. It's in the Asian neighborhoods. You get mad because somebody pushed grandma down, and that's wrong. And you move hell and high water to get a law to make them a protected class. But you can't do nothing for this. Then this stuff been happening for over 400 years. Booker reported suffered a minor concussion, cuts, bruises, had patches of his hair pulled out, according to reports. He later wrote on Facebook, "We were calm and polite, but looking back now, it's apparent that these individuals began targeting our group the moment they saw myself, a black man, and we're looking to provoke conflict." None of the attackers were immediately arrested after this incident. Let me repeat that again. None of the attackers were immediately arrested after the incident, but we can have Karen call the police on us, and you ready to arrest us. We get attacked drinking iced tea and eating some Skittles. And we got to worry about somebody calling the police or somebody trying to be a vigilante and trying to take matters in their own hands. What matter? I'm eating a freaking Skittles and drinking tea. Even though Skittles and tea is a bunch of sugar and it kill you. But come on. So I said all this to let you know that, I suggest I donated a little money to Vox, because Vox is going to have to defend himself. I mean, the nerves of you actually charging me for this. Let me bring myself back up and then I'm done. Imagine I'm out in the woods. Bruh, I don't do woods. I don't do woods. Heck, I don't even watch Tiger Woods when he play. I don't do woods. I don't. My brother loves it. I mean, don't get me wrong. You get enough of us together, and you got a black crew going out, and you got a bunch of or mixed crew going out to have some fun in the woods. I'm down for it. But believe me, there better be a ratio white to black, Asian to black, whatever, when we go out. I'm not going out with a bunch of white people into an area that's predominantly white, that's by a river with a bunch of trees. That just don't even add up. I'm not playing that game. I'm not putting myself in that position. But they actually going to charge this guy. This guy would not go along with it's all over and done. I forgive you. Don't worry about it. Oh, it's all love. Give me a hug. The judge hugging the criminal hugging the judge. What kind of foolishness is that? Black judge is dead. You see this black judge, you see the evidence of them harassing and bashing and slurring, and God knows them trying to tell the white people to leave and we gonna let them go. You really believe they gonna let them go after they leave? And you know the history of this stuff going on, and you gonna come out of it. Not saying that this happened in this case, but it sure happened with the Geithner situation and Boca John. The judge, the female black judge, gonna step down behind the counter and with this love and forgiveness. And don't get me wrong, I'm a forgiving guy, and I believe forgiveness is there's power in forgiveness. But when it comes to the law, that forgiveness stuff is a personal thing. You let the law be the freaking law, because you forgiving people have not brought you laws to protect your society, especially black people who are so forgiving. We're so forgiving. We're so loving. So we got to stop that crap sometime. You forgive and love with your own personal situation, but when it comes to law, you either going to do something to enforce more power in these laws, or you're going to do something dumb that's not going to allow that to happen. I'm not hugging. For a judge to come out the stand and hug the victim of a murder of a man in his own home by a cop. I didn't know it. I'm sorry. And y'all, okay, let's say she is sorry. Like your boy from the NWA said, sorry about your D-luck. You still going to jail. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to hit you with these charges. Think about all that. And if the family want to forgive you, great. But as a judge, you going to get this work. And yeah, even as a judge, I might feel pity for you, but I'm not showing it because my job ain't to be a mother. My job ain't to be a compassionate conservative or compassionate Democrat or compassionate activist or none of that stuff in the court of law. My job is to enforce the law. That lady, you shouldn't have never, it's a shame for a judge to come from behind the counter and sit there and hug the victim. A black judge at that. I know I'm getting off subject, but my point is, Mr. Booker decided we ain't gonna play this fool. Okay, it's all right. You don't went through a lot of too much trouble. You know the Central Park Five brothers sympathetic toward this lady who called the police on him. I mean, I could be sympathetic, but you still gonna get this work. Cause you dog whistled the police on me for no freaking reason. I did nothing. You're going to get this work. And I'm telling you, people, when these things happen to you like this, they need to get this work. Because you are not helping yourself get the laws put on the books that you need with this kind of attitude, with this kind of direction. You can love, you can forgive, you can hate, and you can not forgive. That's personal. At the end of the day, you break laws, you need to pay the penalty, because if you break the law, man, they're going to lay the book on you. Told you time, and I'm almost done. I told you time I was hanging out with my boy Chuck, and, you know, we all, you know, we hanging out on the streets, you know, go get a beer from the store. So Chuck comes in. Now, Chuck sell weed. But Chuck, one of the coolest guy on the block. So I'm like, yo, Chuck, what's up? Me and my boys go greet Chuck. And Chuck said nothing, you know, selling his weed. So my boy bought a bag of weed from Chuck. Cops come in and do a sweep. That was one of the things they was doing as per the crime bill. They would do a sweep of the area looking for drugs and looking to pin a drug dealer. Or looking for a way to get somebody locked up so their numbers can go up, or trying to get their arrest numbers up for the day or for the month. They will use the sweep to use as a tool to get their arrest records up to make them look good, blah, blah, blah. That's what they did. Now here I am. I didn't buy no weed. I wasn't smoking weed. I just wanted to get me a old English. Went to get me a 40 ounce. I'm going to take my 40 ounce, sit on the porch and chill. Chuck sell weed. My other boy, Kurt, buy weed. He buy weed from Chuck. Now, Chuck type person, Kurt, you ain't got to buy no weed. We can go smoke. Let's just go. That's how cool Chuck was. Me, I wasn't a big weed smoker. I just drunk, you know. They arrested all three of us. They gave all three of us the same charges. And it's not just one charge, but they stack charges up on you. We're arresting you for drug paraphernalia. We're arresting you for the use of marijuana. We ain't smoking none of that stuff yet. We're arresting you for the possession of marijuana. We're arresting you for the distribution of marijuana. So black people, when you get arrested, you get the book thrown at you. But you want to sit here and, come on, stop that. You're afraid that they're going to get the book thrown at them? They want to charge this man because he decided to say, we ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. Had these people left that area and left me with those guys, you probably would have found me on a tree. I'm not going to sit here and estimate. I'm telling you, I believe I would have been hung on a tree. And then y'all would have been saying he was such a nice guy. We thought they was going to let him go. Obviously, they didn't. After a while, your little feeling of feeling bad 5 years later, go away. At the end of the day, I'm dead. And my children don't have a father. And my wife don't have a husband. Brothers and sisters out here in the community, when somebody assaults you, you can forgive them. You can continue to love them if you want to. That's your choice. You can hate them. You can be vengeful against them. That's your choice. But at the end of the day, these people break the laws. You got to let the law do what the law need to do. You don't sit here and help the law get them off. Because when it comes to you, they ain't letting you off. And nothing will change on behalf of the black community with you ignoring this stuff and blowing it off. You need to be like Mr. Booker and say, nah, that is in the past. This is a new day and new now. You call the police, I'm pressing charges on you. And if I can, I'm suing you. And if you lose whatever you got, that's on you. Maybe you need to lose it so you can think twice the next time when you do that. So it's like the Central Park girl I showed on the video crying because the black lady showed her acting like a fool in doggone Victoria's Secret, talking about, don't put me on camera, you're going to make me lose my job. You should have thought about that mess before you started harassing her. And they'll be trying to push laws to stop your only weapon to defend yourself, the camera on the phone. Because if it wasn't for the camera on the phone, this wouldn't have never got out. The situation with Mr. Booker and the situation with the Victoria's Secret Karens. Maybe if we had a video camera, if we had the video camera on the phone way back in the day, a lot of brothers wouldn't have got lynched so easy. Then again, they probably still would have got lynched, but at least would have had evidence against he say, she say. So I just want to end this. My hat's off to Mr. Von Booker. Standing up for himself as a black man, saying enough is enough. Enough is enough. I don't care if you do feel bad. Sorry about your doggone luck. You should have thought about that before you did it. That's what they'll tell me. If I'm so hungry, I go out and steal a pack of steak or a pack of Franks to feed my household. I get caught. Guess what they're going to say? You should have thought about that. Oh, I did thought about it. That's why I went in there and got it. These people thought they knew exactly what they were doing to this man. They thought about it. They probably fantasized about it. They probably salivated about it. They probably waterboard, they got off on it. And now they got a chance to rustle up one of these boys. Let's rustle them up. Get a rope. And you survived that situation and you not gonna deal with this situation aggressively? No, you deal with it aggressively. Anyway, I'm done. I got to get out of here. Got another story I'm talking about a little later. About sore loser in Buffalo, New York. Sore loser mayor. But no, it's time. As a man, a loving, forgiving man, you can do whatever you want. Like I said, forgiveness and loosening and letting go is a power when it comes to you personally. But when it comes to anything outside of that, you can't let your feelings and your emotion get in the way of that. Or you can't let your spirituality get in the way of that. You handle your stuff spiritually, metaphysically, whatever. But when it comes to breaking laws and these people attacking you by any means necessary in any kind of way, you need to start clapping back on them aggressively. Too many people died. And people sitting up here loosening and letting go. You can loosen and letting it go in your own personal life, super Christian, super Muslim. You could do that personally. But when it comes to the law, don't you dare get in the way of progress. by loosing and letting go. We need to have certain laws on the books to deal with this situation and penalize people severely for attacking black people or opening the door for an attack to happen on black people. They need to be punished severely for it, because if I do it to a white person, I'm going to get punished, and rightfully so. If I do it to the Asian, I'm going to get punished severely, and rightfully so. It's time for you to start doing the same thing. I'm Rob Brown with the Bobby Brown Show on the go. I'll holler at you later. And thank you for your time. I got to get out of here. And I would normally say good morning, good night, but it's still daytime. But I'll holler at you later. Peace. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you still subscribe. I mean, I don't even really get into that much, but I need to say it more often. Make sure you still subscribe. And if you have not subscribed, subscribe again and put the notification bell on always, and I'll holler at you later. Peace.